Hey friends, Jeff here from Bygone. Look, we've got videos for days on this 72 Pontiac Grand Prix we're selling. Let's start with some of the documentation that comes with the car. You know from previous videos that we do have born with drivetrain on this car. Engine, trans, and rear are original to the vehicle. We do have a great copy of a build sheet that will come with the car as well. Super good quality piece to include. Car was originally sold out of Huntsville, Alabama, and that coincides with Mr. Yue purchasing the car March 22nd of 73 with just 13,288 miles. It shows his address there over on Gulf Road in Huntsville, Alabama. We'll get back to that in just a moment here. We do have a PHS documentation for the car as well, so we'll email that to the next owner. But this reproduction window sticker comes with the PHS, and we thought this would be pretty cool to purchase as well. Notice the car has some decent options on it. Does have a trunk lamp and a trunk release. I didn't realize that, so I'll have to look to see that button's usually in the center console, or maybe it's underneath the dash, because there is no glove box on this car. So I'll take a look and see where that's located and see if it operates. But it does have deluxe belts as well. Vinyl top, of course. It came originally with white wall tires. And the rear seat, or the rear speaker, is an option as well. Door edge guards. It's just cool. Car has some nice options on it. Tinted glass. And look at the price. $57, almost $5,800. That's over $40,000 in today's money. And a Monte Carlo in 72 could be picked up for right around $5,000. So it really goes to show that, you know, these Pontiacs were expensive cars back then. Okay, so back to the history of the car here just a little bit. So C.T. Yue purchased the car in March of 1973, and this all coincides really well with his obituary, which was in the Colorado Springs Gazette when he passed in 2014. So he mentions here that he emigrated from China during that Japanese occupation of Taiwan. He attended the Air Force program in Taiwan and becoming a captain. And then he went to Texas. Eventually ended up in Texas and got his bachelor's of mechanical engineering from the University of Texas, and then a master's. Then he went on to get a PhD, and then got a job with Northrop Aerospace out of Huntsville, again, which corresponds with him buying the car while he was in Huntsville. So he became a naturalized citizen of the U.S. in 72, and then a registered professional engineer in Texas in 1977. Joined the Society of Professional Engineers in 81, and he spent much of the 80s, it says here, at the Johnson Space Center in Nassau Bay, Texas, with NASA, and received an award from the Space Shuttle Support Team on the first Columbia shuttle flight in 1981. Pretty cool stuff. I've read other articles about Mr. Yue, and they talk about his tremendous math skills. And so he was instrumental in trajectory calculations and things like that with the space shuttle program. Pretty cool. Mentions here that Mr. Yue also received special citations from the Air Force regarding his contributions to the U.S. space program. So how this helps is Mr. Yue eventually made his way to Colorado, where he continued his work with NASA and the Department of Defense. If we go over here to some of the receipts, back in 1976, we've got receipts from Midas for a muffler and a couple tailpipes. Notice that the mileage at the time was at 58,825. I'm assuming that's not the service manager number, okay? So we've got that to start in 76. And notice that Mr. Yue is still in Texas at that time. Now we go, now we go to 1981. Mr. Yue's back at Midas, right, because their exhaust kits suck. And he's back getting another muffler and 2 tailpipes. This cracks me up. And he's still in Houston at this time. So Carr spent some time in Texas, total of $81, and off we go. All right, so back at Midas again in 1983. Oh my gosh, 2 mufflers and 2 tailpipes. Oh, this is awesome. And total here, of $163. Now this is in Hermosa Beach, California. So he racked some mileage up on the car, and we know that because of the next receipt. So that's 1983, and here's a receipt for our tires at JCPenney in 1982. So I did jump, and this is in Redondo Beach, but the mileage here on the car was 75,010 or 71,010, and I know it's a 71 because on the other paperwork here for the warranty it's marked at 7110. So he was driving it quite a bit. It went from 58,000 to 71,000, and so we've got good documentation to confirm mileage here. In addition to those receipts, we have some emissions tests for the car as well from over the years. It's just crazy to me that even in Wisconsin too, a lot of these cars are subject to emissions testing. So this is from 1996, which is pretty neat. Inspector number 89791. I think that is the mileage of the car at the time. So, oh no, here we go. There we go. So the mileage at the time is 96,452. So you could tell, that as he was moving from California and then finally here to Colorado, the car was being driven. Then we have a couple receipts for batteries. Got another one here from Amoco, where the carb was rebuilt at some point along the way here. This is in 96, and you can see at that point the car had 106,000 miles. So the car has been off the road. Very, very few miles have been put on the car in the last 25 years. And so that's kind of my whole point here. But the records do flow, and they go with the flow of Mr. Yue's professional career and things of that sort as well. Lastly, we have these awesome registration records from the state of Colorado, and there's several of these where Mr. Yue is going around and around documenting his phone calls with the state of Colorado because they're hassling him about registering his car. And you can tell how angry he is because he's using exclamation points here. Since I do not operate parentheses, drive this car. They say I do not need to maintain insurance. This is a collector car, parks in garage and does not operate. Hilarious to me. But it also shows again that the car was garaged over the years. So we have several of those registration pieces of paperwork that'll go with the car too. Look, just a highly documented car with some fantastic history, owned by a man who brilliantly helped the U.S. space program, which is super cool, and also helps us understand how the car got from Huntsville to Colorado Springs. Again, if you have any other specific questions, or you'd like to do any additional sleuthing on Mr. Uwe, by all means, please share if you do get additional info. This is Jeff from Bygone. Feel free to reach out with any other questions you may have about this gorgeous 72 Pontiac Grand Prix. Take care.